Morning, all. Let's see what we have here on YouTube. Morning, Roxanne. Thank you for my brooms. Morning, Angela. Arlene Lewis, morning. Cyril Mayas, morning. Carol Boyce John, morning to you. Morning, Rockman. Rude Trude, morning. Think for yourself. Good morning, J Dimple 66, morning to you. Anna Bed, morning. Rena Jennings, morning. Rena Allison Rogers, morning. Ruben Rogers, morning to you. Hillbench, good morning. No, it's not the flu, Roxanne. I think it's the just my sinuses acting up this morning. They came to service my AC yesterday, and so I don't know if that's probably what causing it. Morning, Carol. Diane, morning. Ruth Fronton, morning. Elizabeth Allen, morning to you. Shireen Jack, morning. Martha James, morning. Laverne Brown, morning to you. Judy Bowen, morning, Judy. I see that. Either that or this Sahara dust. It's probably that because it affected my eyes too. Claire Carrington, morning. Carlos Fonilier, morning to you. Ashlyn Robertson, Nicole Graves, morning. Bill Tippin, morning. Carlos Fonilier. See. A lot of people who got that flu and the sun was really, really terrible. I had it. Well, it was horrible for me. So, anybody who got it worse than that, pressure. Morning, Alison. Alison Samuel, John Edwards, Emmeline Harvey, morning to you. Adriana Alexis, morning. Rudolph Barnett, Arthur James, morning. Let's see if I could find this thing here, boy. Anna Sisneff, morning, Anna. Brenda Isaac, morning. Shah, morning. Let's see, it's just 11 minutes. Say morning to Mother Tunapuna. Morning. You know how long I hear from Angie? I need to give Angie a call. I need to give Angie a call. Let's see this thing here. What's this? Anyway, morning, folks. Morning, all. Let's see. This might be another kind of early morning too, because I have some stuff to do. But anyway, I was looking for a video to play here. I should have saved that last night, but I assumed it would still be on the person's profile. But I guess not. Let's see. Okay, this one. Right, so plenty stuff, lots of stuff happening. Prime Minister was in Guyana yesterday. Yeah. So I don't know if he's back as yet or if it is he's going to stay for the entire 3 days, because I think he went to attend an energy conference, and it's supposed to end on the 22nd, I think is the date that I heard last night, from the 19th to the 22nd. I don't know if he's going to stay for the entire time. Marilyn Cloud, morning to you. Dave Emmanuel. But notably, Couple things that I took away from that event with respect to the Prime Minister is, well, he featured prominently in the conference. I think he was given the honor of cutting the ribbon to open the conference, and the president of Guyana certainly would have given the Prime Minister ample opportunity to be a part of the proceedings. So one of the things that they did, I think it was yesterday. It was yesterday. I think they had a stone laying ceremony to mark the start of construction of a US $300 million hotel slash apartments slash villas in Guyana by a group called the Assets Group from Qatar. And we know there's a lot of investment taking place in Guyana, and the Prime Minister was also invited to be a part of that ribbon cutting ceremony. And then thereafter, we saw pictures of him sitting. He had a meeting. He and Stuart Young had a meeting with the vice chairman of the Assets Group, presumably to discuss maybe them coming to Trinidad to open a similar facility, or maybe to take over the Magdalena Grant, because as you know, the government has been looking for a company to take over the operations of the Magdalena and to make necessary investment to bring it up to standard. And I looked at that and I said to myself, PM, it's a good initiative, but if it bears fruit, great. But I was minded to say, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time, because these people coming to Trinidad, if we are to recall, or if Sandals is anything to go by, we know what the outcome is going to be, right? Because he would have engaged in similar discussions with the Sandals Group prior to becoming Prime Minister. He was able to bring them here. They expressed an expression of interest and they were going to do something. And had that borne fruit, and had the recalcitrant minority not convinced the gullible majority to go along with them in the nonsense, Sandals might have been finished by now, right? And for those persons who love to say that the term recalcitrant minority is racist, let me introduce you all this morning to something called a dictionary. Right? It means having an obstinately recalcitrant, means having an obstinately uncooperative attitude towards authority or discipline. Person who is obstinately uncooperative, right? Stubbornly refusing to give in to authority. That's what it means. But you're also stuck in your ways. Plenty of you who love to talk about that weren't even around when the statement was made. But it's convenient for you all to see that. So anyway, yeah. So while Dr. Rowley's out there, I'm surprised this time we didn't hear him complaining yet that he went on another trip and how much money that trip costs the country and how much money, and he always flying and all of that. But again, he went commercial. He didn't take a whole jumbo jet to go to Guyana. And if he's being invited to these things, it speaks volumes. He didn't invite himself. He didn't pick up the phone and call the president of Ghana and say, I come in. He was invited, and given the prominent role that he played, even though Ghana was hosts, right? It says something that they see value in what Dr. Rowley has to offer, and they invited him to come. And so when he makes all of these trips, it is for the benefit of Trinidad and Tobago. Because I say, well, we don't say what benefit came from it and what we get and all of that. These things will come in time. But at least we see pictures of the Prime Minister in meetings with influential people, having discussions with influential people on every trip that he goes to. It's not to gallivant and lime and play himself. Yeah? So again, he used the opportunity yesterday during his feature address to promote Trinidad and Tobago and to promote regional integration with respect to energy and other things, and kudos to him. And so let's see what comes out of that. Well, I see Bacchanal in the Maha Sabha. Yes, don't know how many of you would have seen the video that has been posted. But not just in the Maha Sabha, Bacchanal in the UNC, among parliamentary colleagues, because it seems that Dinesh Rambali, the current member of parliament for Chaguanas West, appears to be in a bit of a Rango Tango with Runal Munilal. Dinesh Rambali, of course, is a prominent member of the Maha Sabha. And they had something, was it yesterday? No, not just a couple of days ago. I think it was at the Ramai Trace Hindu School. If the name sounds familiar, it is because that is the school that the Ministry of Education would have opened, I think, sometime back in December thereabouts. And the school apparently was supposed to have been named the Dr. Rudal Munilal Ramai Trace Hindu School, in primary school, because that was some promise that, so they say, Satmaraj made to Munilal some years ago because of the contribution that he would have made to the school, financial and otherwise. And it seems that Mr. Maraj's successor, his son, Vijay, is not so inclined. So Munilal insists that his name should be on the school because that was a promise made to him by the late head of the Mahasabha. And remember, these guys, for these guys, is all about hubris, right? They love to see the name on thing. You have to feel good. So he wants long after he is gone from this plane of existence, that there should still be some marker that he existed. Probably because he feels the rest of his existence has been more or less irrelevant. So he wants his name on something. But the Ministry of Education wasn't inclined to do that. So the plaque, when it was open, when the school was open and the plaque was unveiled by the minister, it said the Ramai Trace Hindu School. And Mr. Munilal then went and presented himself with a plaque for the school and so on. Let me see if I find this thing here. So apparently, Dinesh, well, listening to that yesterday, there's a 30-something minute clip circulating, and everybody wasn't mincing words, right? Vijay wasn't mincing words, as he said on numerous occasions. His family, they don't, nobody in the family, he called out Munilal and his nonsense. And then you had people coming up to speak afterwards, and it was a real backhand. Just give me the opportunity to find this here. Let's see. Where is it? So is this it? I don't want to play this whole thing. It's not. I thought there was a short clip. Hold on, let me find this. Yeah, I wanted you all to hear Rambali himself. Right, let's see. So, all right, pause that there. Right, this is what I'm looking for. So, give me 1 sec. You just set this up here. There we go. Right.
What do you demand of those who seek to represent you? What do you demand? Do you demand the insistence of a name on a school, or do you demand the betterment and education of your children? My colleague who got up just before Mr. Ramai decided that he needed to give us a lecture amidst this auspicious occasion. Dr. Rudal Munilal, devotees, it was not of my knowledge that I had to say a few words, but maybe it is a good coincidence. It's a good coincidence.
It was at that time that Mr. Munilal got up and walked out of the event. And then after Mr. Rambali spoke, Mr. Maraj came up and boy, he was on fire and he let them know. So now it's Bacchanal, and I understand Devant Maraj would have written a piece. Well, it seems that on this rare occasion, he has come to the defense of Rudal Munilal. And he, at the time that that promise was made to Dr. Munilal, Devant Maraj, that is, was a prominent member of the Mahasabha, right? And so he was around when Sat Maraj made that promise, and he's coming out to say, well, yes, so. And apparently he has an issue with Vijay Maharaj and Rambali and these guys. So he's no longer a member, a part of the Maha Sabha, now residing in Canada. So he wrote a stinging post on Facebook, and I understand Mr. Munila would have posted it up on his Facebook page, and he received allegedly instructions from Kamala to take it down, right? Because she don't want people to know. Remember, Sata told her he would free up the Hindu vote. Remember that when he told her she want to do whatever she want, eat what she want, and drink what she want, and play the donkey all over the place. But you will pay a hell of a price, Kamala, hell of a price. He will free up the Hindu vote. No longer will they vote based on religion, race, or gender. An admission by Sat Maharaj that is how the membership and the supporters of the United National Congress vote, based on religion, race, and gender. So because Kamala is a woman, right, and based on race and gender, religion, that's what they vote. But they love to say the PNM does vote based on race, and it's race, and only vote based on race, and that's why the country, the mess that it is in, and all of that. No, nobody from, I don't recall anybody from the PNM, any prominent leader or anything, talking about freeing up any African vote or claiming that Africans vote based on race or religion or gender. Doesn't, and every time this topic comes up, I always say that if the PNM supporters used to vote based on race, Kamala Persad-Visesa would never have been prime minister. All of the PNM stronghold seats that they won, they would not have won without the support of the same people that they love to call it is by sycophants and accuse her who drinking Balize juice and who's stupid and who illiterate and all of that. Yeah? These same stupid, illiterate Balize juice drinkers is who was responsible for Mrs. Persad-Visesa getting a stint as prime minister. So let them continue to make these statements and expect that PNM supporters will take it lightly. No, they will do what they have to do when the time comes, right? Because apparently all are bright and everybody else dotish. Okay, so now they're fighting among themselves. So we will see how that will pan out. But needless to say, there were a lot of uncomfortable people at that meeting when Vijay started to speak. Yeah, and boy, oh boy, was he on fire. We will see how that goes. They can't even manage their interpersonal relationships in their own party, but they want to come and govern the country. Yeah, that is the kind of, as Dr. Williams said, the alternative to the PNM is chaos and confusion. And that's exactly what's going on there is chaos and confusion. And it didn't finish. It didn't finish. So if it is, and of course, maybe it's because Mr. Rambali perhaps is so vocal and outspoken, because I'm sure he knows that there will be consequences for that in terms of his ability to represent or to be chosen to represent Chaguanas West in 2025, because my understanding is that that seat may have been offered to Mr. Warner to return as a member of parliament for Chaguanas West. And that may have contributed to his willingness to return to the fold, because as I understand, Mr. Warner, had no intentions of coming back into the politics. Right? And this is from reliable sources who told me he had indicated to them he's done with that. He don't want no part of no politics thing again because it has cost him quite a bit and he's no longer interested. And then there was a sudden change of heart, sudden change of mind. Right? So watch and see. And now that this recent ruling with the Supreme Court, the US Supreme Court, which says that the authorities in the US would have overreached with respect to their efforts to prosecute persons from FIFA who would have been involved in certain things. And well, we'll see how that comes. But as far as I know, there has been nothing official stating that the US is no longer interested in Mr. Warner. He has said so, but we will see how that goes. Until something official comes stating that they're no longer interested in his extradition, it remains. But from what I understand, that may very well be the case, and Mr. Rambali may be on his way out. And since he knows that his days are numbered, he has no problem in speaking out now. And hopefully he will tell us other things before he leaves, right? Before he departs. Never a dull moment in Sweet TNT. Right. So there was something else I was trying to find wanted to play from last night. Now, I did not listen, honestly. I didn't listen to the anti-crime talks last night, which I understand was carried on several television stations. Where is that party getting money from to pay for television broadcasts, which is very expensive? They could barely find money to pay their rent, but they have money to pay for these television broadcasts. It tells you something, right? Clearly, they have certain persons in there who are willing to continue to fund that organization with hopes of what? And how will they be repaid? Is it that there are hopes that should they come back into office, that you spend money now to promote them, and when they win, you would be rewarded with lucrative contracts and the like, as took place between 2010 to 2015. Hence the reason you have so many contractors now who are before the court and who must now put in a defense in the civil matter involving EMBD, which we have to discuss, but probably maybe next week we will touch on that. Right? Just to ask the question, because anyway.
A statement?
Thank you.
Right. Let me see if I find this thing here. Where is it? I saw it. I didn't want to play this. I just scroll through this whole thing. But I saw Selwyn Kojo was there last night. He had a lot to say. But the persons who were viewing on the UNC's Facebook page and so on, many of them felt that he was talking too long. And they had heard, but after about 5 minutes, they hear enough of him and they wanted somebody else. I wonder why, But yeah, he spoke a lot. In fact, there was at one point in time where he would have, anyway, yeah. Let's just say there were certain things that were said last night based on a little bit I saw, where Mrs. Posabi-Sessom may not have been too pleased that they decided to select him to speak. There were two persons who spoke last night, and I was kind of hoping to see it. I don't know. This one. Let me see if I get it here. So when they had they opened up the floor for comments, a lot of people kept coming up, and everybody wanted to praise Kamala Persad-Bissessar and so on. She's the next prime minister, and how they love her. And so on. I don't know if it's something in that party that once you are addressing the political leader, you need to pay obeisance to her and tell her how much you love her, and all of that. Anyway, let me see if I find this here. This one. The service there. So there was a fella from Arima, came up, identified himself as a businessman, and said, so they opened the floor for persons to come and offer solutions to the crime. And this guy came and he's talking about youth, and he's so concerned about the youth of the future. If you could be concerned about the youth of the past, but anyway. And he wants to see programs in place for the youth because, it's so difficult these days to get a plumber and a mason and a joiner. So he wants to see when Mrs. Posabi-Sessom comes back as prime minister, that they could reintroduce programs for the youth to be able to learn trades and so on, because once upon a time, somebody need to tell this man, right? There's something that this current administration under Keith Rowley, reopened the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps, right? Which Kamala Persad-Bissessar and they had closed down. So maybe if they didn't close it down, we might have had many more plumbers and masons and all of the trades that she spoke about. So I want to let them know that in the last year or so, we've had almost 1,600, more than 1,600 in fact, young persons who would have graduated from CCC, and many of them in those trades. All right? So what it is that you're coming to suggest, sir, is already in place. I can't fault you if it is that you don't know, because perhaps the media are not really interested in promoting these things. Yeah? And maybe a better job needs to be done by the powers that be to promote that. But I would like to direct him. He could go on the Facebook page of the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service, and it is all there, sir. And you can see all of the different programs that are available for trades and everything else. A wide variety of things. If you want to learn, if the young people want to learn how to operate heavy machinery, if it is that they're interested in learning skills for the oil and gas sector, all of these things are available. The government is making all of these programs available to young persons between the ages of 18 and 35. But I can't fault you, because the party that you support not promoting that. They're not going to talk about that. Why? Because they need to continue to perpetuate this narrative that this government ain't doing nothing, they ain't care about poor people and nothing for the youth and nothing for the youth. Right. I'm trying to find this. All right. So, let's see. Forgive me. I wanted to play this thing so bad. There was a counselor, a UNC counselor from Enterprise. Just let me see if I find it here. I saw it on a page last night, and then I should have saved it. Should have saved it. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I find it here. Like it's not in this clip. No. Right, I'll have to find it and I'll probably play it on Thursday because it seems to have been edited from this particular clip and I'm not seeing it. So anyway, let me give you all another example of hypocrisy. Let me get it here. I saw this on the news last night. Opposition demands transparency. President's appointment of Integrity Commission chairman under scrutiny. So the UNC has an issue with the person who the president recently appointed, Mr. Hayden Gittins, who was appointed as chairman of the Integrity Commission, right? Mr. Hayden Gittins was appointed as chairman of the Integrity Commission following the expiry of Professor Rajendra Ramlogan's term in office on January 11, 2024. And just weeks before Gittins' appointment, Keith Rowley publicly complained about an investigation into his financial affairs by the Integrity Commission under Professor Ramlogan's leadership. I don't want to read this whole thing. Right. Out of a population of 1.4 million people, it appears that President Christine Kangaloo installed Mr. Hayden Gittins, the close neighbor and friend of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Bridget Anizet George, and her husband, Luman George, to be Integrity Commission chairman. Mr. George, the best friend of Keith Rowley, is the embattled chairman of the state-owned Paria Fuel Trading Company and also owns a townhouse in the scandal-plagued Inez Gate development. This is the same development where Keith Rowley received a $400,000 discount on a townhouse, blah, blah, blah. Most concerning is that at no time did President Kangaloo or Gittins himself, listen to the hypocrisy. Most concerning is that at no time did President Kangaloo or Gittins himself see the need to show personal integrity and disclose the close ties of Gittins to high-ranking individuals in the PNM hierarchy. Since the chair of the Integrity Commission must be universally viewed as impartial, neutral, and dispassionate, President Kangaloo must explain how she arrived at Gittins' name in the first place. It appears that this appointment shows definite signs of cronyism, nepotism, and bias towards the sitting government. Mr. Gittins must also disclose if any member of his family was previously appointed to a state board by the Rowley government. All you ever hear hypocrisy, so? And Mrs. Prasad Bisessa is the one leading the charge in this claim, based on what was on the news last night, right? You all would recall that in 2013, at the height, 2013, 2014 thereabouts, at the height of the investigation into Emailgate, that then President Anthony Kamuna appointed one Zainul Hussain as the chairman of the Integrity Commission, right? Former Justice Zainul Hussain, who at the time of his appointment was serving as a senior consultant, as a principal of the law chambers of one Israel Khan, who was the attorney for then Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisessa in this whole Emailgate affair. So for some 13 months or so, 13 to 18 months or so, into the investigation of this Emailgate affair, Mr. Zainul Hussain was in the chambers, the law chambers of Mr. Israel Khan, right? So all the while, that was the hot topic in Trinidad and Tobago, this Emailgate thing and Emailgate, everybody talking about it. So Mr. Hussain is sitting in this office every day or so, he coming in, his name was on the letterhead, at the bottom of the letterhead for that law chambers. So it tells you the prominent role that he played in that law chambers. Of Israel Khan, the attorney of then Kamla Prasad Bisessa, then Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisessa, right? In this Emailgate matter. We have to believe that in this whole 18 months between the time the email gate started and the time that he was appointed chairman of the Integrity Commission, that he, Zainul Hussain, had no discussions whatsoever with Israel Khan with respect to email gate. For that whole 18 months or so, when he had no clue, no idea that he was going to be appointed Integrity Commission chairman, that they had no discussion. So from the time the email gate start, right? I don't know if he had a crystal ball. And anytime Israel Khan came to him for them to discuss the matter, he probably say, Israel, in about a year and a half, I'm going to be appointed Integrity Commission chairman, so it would be inappropriate of me to have any discussions with you. Yeah? Because I don't know how else. Can't figure out it. Because if they would have us believe that these two never talk about that, Israel Khan is Kamla Pasabi says is attorney in the matter, And then this man is appointed Integrity Commission chairman. And within record time, a declaration was made, investigation closed. There is nothing there. Mrs. Prasad Bisesa and others are exonerated. And you'll remember the Integrity Commission collapsed after that because former Justice Sebastian Vento, who was also part of a member of the Integrity Commission, then indicated that he and others did not agree with the chairman, Zainul Hussain, that the investigation be closed, that there was other information still outstanding that they were waiting for to scrutinize. And these things while they were waiting for it, a declaration, all of a sudden, investigation complete. Right? And remember after that, people started to resign and the Integrity Commission fell apart. But she had no concern about nepotism and cronyism. She had no concerns then about the propriety of someone the like of Zainul Hussain, who was in the law chambers of your attorney. Right? So your attorney and Zainul Hussain is good friend, good partner. They were colleagues, work colleagues for 18 months into this Integrity Commission, right? Into this investigation into email gate. And you were concerned about the perception that whatever information may have come to the Integrity Commission, that maybe Israel Khan and Mr. Hussain could have still been talking on the side, as they say. Even if that didn't happen, the perception, she wasn't concerned about that. So when the president sent the name Zainul Hussain to her and to Dr. Rowley for consideration, right? Just you had a confu, but at the end of the day, this decision is his. Did she register no objection? No, he's a good choice. Put him. Yes, put him. Never mind the fact that right as we speak right now, he's probably sitting down in Israel Khan office discussing the email gate. Or Israel Khan probably sitting down in his office. Or whatever discussions they've had. Nah, forget that. That don't matter. That doesn't matter. Right? So she had no problem with that. Appoint him. But today you vex because the current Integrity Commission chair happens to be the neighbor of Bridget and Lizette George. The man probably live in how much houses down the street. Right? But so because that's the neighbor, that disqualifies him from being the Integrity Commission, and they have an issue with that. And the president must answer. What is that? They're demanding transparency. Really? Are you serious? Demanding transparency? I always say if hypocrisy was a party, it would be that party. And if hypocrisy was a person, well, it had plenty of them in that party who could be the standard bearers and the poster boy and poster girl for hypocrisy. But they will make an issue of that probably at the next week if they have Monday night forum. Rest assured, they're going to come and talk about this nonsense. And this is why people, it is difficult to get good people to come forward to serve the country in these capacities. Because when it is that you know that people like Mrs. Prasad Bisesa and other operatives in the UNC target people unfairly to malign them and put their name in the public domain and say some of the nastiest things about them, drag them through the mud because they have decided that they would give back to the country in this manner. And this is why people are reluctant, good people are reluctant to step forward. And it is difficult. So when they come and tell you, well, this person serving on 2 boards and 3 boards, you know why? It's because it is difficult to get people. So when people do step forward, you have to work with the pool that you have because they're saying, me, not me, I don't want no part of that. I don't want no part of that. You see, when that party decide that they want to come and I don't want my family to be embarrassed or name call up and nothing, forget that. Thanks, but no thanks. That's the problem right there. That's the problem right there. Yeah? But you had no issue with Zainul Hussein. Okay. Let me say good morning as well to just to the unwashed and the illiterate. The unwashed and the illiterate. Unless you don't know what I'm talking about, let me enlighten you. Let's see if I get this. The Secretary for Tourism, just now, the Division of Tourism, Culture, and Antiquities, right? .cat. I got it right. Tashia Boris, Tobago, for the first time in a long time, decided to do a live on Sunday, and she had a lot to say. In fact, she spoke for 46 minutes and 40 seconds, but I ain't gonna play the whole thing. Let me just play this piece.
Just put me in hospital. Yeah? Because that is what does happen. You just walk, 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 walk. You just forget about yourself, forget about your health, and then you end up in hospital. But you know what? I'm back out here working again. Because you know why? It is important for Tobago. It is important for our growth. It's important for our development. It's important for our children. It is important for our future. That is what we're here for. We are dealing with an ecological disaster. And I came out here in a ministerial roundtable and spoke to other ministers of tourism from around the world and their representatives. And I spoke about Tobago's challenges. And our challenge is that, you know what? Something happened in our backyard. And we were constrained to respond in the way that we should have. Because you know why? If Tobago was an autonomous island, an autonomous nation, we would have technical expertise coming in because we could pick up the phone and call Grenada. We could pick up the phone and call Barbados. We could pick up the phone and call St. Lucia. We could pick up the phone and call Jamaica. Tobago can't do that. You know why? We have to go through central government. They have to determine that the level of the thing is big enough to warrant picking up the phone and calling we neighbor. But they say when your neighbor house on fire with yours, right? We house on fire. And Tobago can't even call we neighbor because we are not allowed to based on the construct of the relationship that we are in. Let that sink in. We have been joined to Trinidad for 135 years this year. Since 1889, Tobago and Trinidad have been married. And since 1899, we have been a ward of Trinidad. This is 2024, come on. We want to stay here. We can't stay here. We have to grow. Just as you make children, they move from baby to toddler, to teenager, to adult. Tobago had to get up, stand up with success stands. Success does not sit. That's where we have to get. That's where we have to get to. We have had one of the most exceptional cruise ship seasons in terms of the number of ships. And somebody want to tell me about numbers. What is your issue? Did I invent those people? Are they ghosts? Did they jump on the ship while it was on the way to Tobago like barnacles or something? So you're telling me that I lie. MICOM's officers lie. The research people lie. The airports authority lie. The port authority lie. And the cruise ship operator lie too. Well, all right, all are we lie. Like I will literally just take some figures from out of the atmosphere to make up a story. Oh God, oppose with sense now. People don't understand that government is not just majority. You know, government is opposition too, and the opposition have to behave as if there's the government in waiting. And if them two be acting the way they're acting, and them want to be the government in waiting, listen, all of them wait forever. All of not making sense. Oppose with sense now. Talk something, make a recommendation, make a suggestion, make a critical, constructive criticism. You know what I mean? Do that. Do that. Stop wasting people's time with nonsense. Stop coming in the media and talking a lot of lies and a lot of misinformation and a lot of half-truths and a lot of... No, don't do that. Stop it. Ignorance is for the unwashed and the illiterate. Stop it. Nope, 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 nope.
Ignorance is for the unwashed and the illiterate. And according to her, the unwashed is those of you unbaptized, you uncircumcised Philistines. Yes, you're not a Seventh-day Adventist. So you are unwashed. You are not saved. Yeah, you need salvation. Come join the Seventh-day Adventist faith, get baptized, know the Lord. Yeah? So the unwashed and the illiterate, if you have an opinion that opposes that of the TPP, you are unwashed and illiterate. Right? According to Ms. Boris. But don't come in the public and spread lies and misinformation and untruths. Secretary Boris, have you listened to your chief secretary lately? Or not just lately, since he became chief secretary, have you listened to him, Ms. Boris? Time and time again, every time he makes a public statement, and you want to talk about coming into the public domain and spreading lies and misinformation and hard truths and so on. This is the same man who held a press conference last week to tell us he got in the middle of the night. He got a WhatsApp message telling him all kind of thing about the vessel, and person who owned the vessel related has something, is some company that interested in purchasing the refinery and all this bacchanal. Were you part of that meeting, Ms. Boris, in which the suggestion was made to use public monies for propaganda, Ms. Boris? When one of your colleagues used the term a propaganda factory or propaganda machine or something so to that effect, right? I forgot the exact term that were you part of that meeting? So the very thing that you are now condemning, there's an audio recording of a meeting of what is supposedly the THA executive discussing doing that very same thing, coming into the public domain and spreading lies and misinformation and the like. So ignorance is for the unwashed and the illiterate. Madam, to whom are you speaking? To whom are you speaking? I hear what she said. If Tobago was an autonomous island, if Tobago was an autonomous nation, and this thing happened, they could pick up the phone and call Grenada. They could pick up the phone and call Barbados. They could pick up the phone and call Jamaica for help. But you wouldn't pick up the phone and call Trinidad for help, where you have the companies with the capacity and the wherewithal to treat with an oil spill. So you bypass Trinidad and want to go to Grenada first, Barbados first, Jamaica first. I wasn't aware that Grenada and Barbados had an oil sector, such that they would have the, that spare capacity to treat with these things. That they would invest significant sums of money into such a thing that where the likelihood of an oil spill happening based on their circumstances slim to none. Right? This wasn't something that happened because of a burst oil main or something. This is a vessel that floated into Tobago's waters, drifted into Tobago's waters after it was abandoned by a tug, and it overturned, and you had this oil spill. But this, and you see, these little things you had to listen to, right? So we're not about secession and whatnot, and we want to have a harmonious relationship with Trinidad. But you mentioned 3 countries that you would have picked up the phone and called if you were an autonomous nation, if you were an autonomous island, if you didn't have to consult with Port of Spain, you were going to call any of these 3 countries before, when just next door. Let us say that it wasn't Trinidad and Tobago, it was Trinidad, Tobago. It had no and, because as I said, it's a 46-minute clip and she talks about she lives in the and because her mother is from, I think the mother is from Trinidad and the father from Tobago or something. So she's in the and, right? But Trinidad has look. It's been 2 weeks, and the oil spill is almost the oil spill is almost completely dealt with, right? The cleanup is almost complete. But while it is she's talking about, they could have picked up phone and call this one and call that one for help. I now see that Fali, a couple of days ago, is saying the oil spill cleanup is almost complete, and now Tobago is in a position to offer help to the other islands that may be affected. So they said that some of the oil is drifting perhaps into Grenadian waters. And Fali is saying, well, Tobago is now in a position to offer assistance to Grenada should they require it in the cleanup. How? Really? The same party who was complaining the other day about how long it taken for them to come and do what they had to do in Tobago, and this ecological disaster, and it has to be promoted to tier 3 and all of that, and all the different troubles that they were going through. And now, 2 weeks later, he's offering Tobago is offering to help other islands and nations that may be impacted by this oil spill. But meanwhile, his secretary complaining. She complaining if the assistance is needed. So apparently Tobago has technical capacity to treat oil spills. Who knew? Okay. But 2 weeks later, they're still complaining about who won the vessel and all of that, and who vexed with the government, and the government is a cover-up, and who lying in the government, and all of these different things. There's a gentleman by the name of P.S. Robinson, right? From time to time, he comments on different things that is happening in the country, and most times he's been critical of the United National Congress. Okay, I don't know what his political leaning is. He's supposed to be independent, all right? But it's been a while since he's had something to talk about. So this oil spill was in fact a blessing for him, because when you review his Facebook page, he's been largely inactive for quite a while. No scandals ready for him to talk about, right? But you see, unfortunately, in this country, when you have impeccable diction, an expansive vocabulary, and a convent accent, and you come and you do a live, people seem to gravitate towards you. So when he was doing his live on Sunday, I think it was, he decided to read some of the comments, and people say, oh yeah, you're sounding like you know what you're talking about, and praising him. 34 minutes of my life that I could never get back, because I thought he had something, because somebody had sent me a message asking me if I could explain what it is he was talking about in layman's terms, because I said his expansive vocabulary are sort of big words that you did not need to use, but when you realize that using big words, people will figure you're bright. And I listened to that, and I mean, it was fluff. It was much ado about nothing. That whatever research he went and he did to find the name of the vessel is Gulfstream and whatnot. The same thing that is in the public domain. And he is upset because he listened on Friday to what the Minister of Energy had to say. And Seo made the point about it's going to take some time because there are about 300 vessels with the name Gulfstream around the world and all of that. And he took Seo to task over that issue. And that the people of Trinidad and Tobago are demanding answers, and they want answers. And it's been 2 weeks. 2 weeks. These investigations take time, right? They take time. And whereas Mr. Robinson, P.S. Robinson, could come out and say whatever he wants when he wants. So if he wants to do a live every day, 2-3 times a day or every other day, he can do that because he's not a minister of government, right? So therefore what he says doesn't really carry weight. But if Seo Cheong makes a statement, it carries weight. If Keith Rowley makes a statement, it carries weight. And I am not aware of any practice of where an investigation of this magnitude and this scale is taking place, that the government representatives of the government will come every day to give a ball by ball of what is happening. The investigation is underway. Let it take its course. And when it is complete, then we will get whatever answers that we need for those who are interested. Because all of a sudden they have an interest in this thing, right? Why? Not because they're concerned about Tobago, but because of all of the conspiracy theories that have been born out of this unfortunate incident. That is why plenty of them, we want to know, because we hear about Delcy and Wilma Ruperti and all of that foolishness. I remember when Delcy come here during COVID and the dog liar come back, resurrect that foolishness. He got an opportunity to resurrect that nonsense. And of course, the supporters and members of that party, that is what they love to hear. Tell me more. Yes, tell me more. We want to know. We like that conspiracy because their minds, their brains, that is set to conspiracy mode. So that's what we want to hear. The government lying. We know it have something there, something in the mortar more than the pestle. We want to hear. So any little conspiracy theory that comes up, they're quick to share that like wildfire. So the Prime Minister had to come in the Parliament on Friday to make a statement to quell some of this foolishness that is in the public domain about oil canting and the oil they was bringing the oil to Trinidad and all such a bacchanal. Guyana has said the vessel was en route to Guyana. They are aware of that. But they aren't prepared to say more. Why Mr. Robinson is calling on the Guyanese authorities to say more? What they know about this vessel. Because they were aware in advance that it was on its way from Panama to Guyana. What was it coming to Guyana to do? What was the purpose of the vessel going to Guyana? So is it so the Guyanese authorities don't have any sort of paperwork or information on with respect to this vessel that coming into their waters, so that they should be able to provide information, but they are conspicuously quiet. But everybody want to kill Keith Rowley and Stuart Chung. We want to know, and we want to know 2 weeks after. Right? The minister cannot say what he is not a part of the investigation. So whatever information comes to him, he has to digest it, and then a decision will be taken what needs to be put into the public domain. But until then, hold on your hand. You all were quite content to listen to a commission of inquiry into the Paria issue for months. And no problem, wasn't calling for. But don't be surprised if just now you hear one of them call, they want a commission of inquiry into this. Soon enough, don't worry, it come in. The request will be made. The UNC that has all of this capability could get information on everybody private business. Up to now, how it is they haven't been able to find out who owned the boat, who owned the tug. And coming to complain, and the government needs to complain with the nation. If you all can't get that information, well then something wrong. Because when Delcy came here during COVID, during the lockdown, they were able to tell us the name of the plane that came. They knew the vessel, the plane was sanctioned. They were able to tell us the registration number of the plane, all who come on the plane, names of everybody, what was their passport number, everything. The only thing we didn't get from them was the people blood type. But they had all this information to come in the public domain to tell you, plane land here, and they'll see and this one, and who was in the room with Rowley, and who was in the room with Stuart Chung. All they get the information yet. Your sources, something wrong with your sources? They getting all? Waiting. You all should have had all of these answers already, since that is your specialty. You can't find it yet, but you want the government to come out and say what. And in the absence of that, all kind of conspiracy theories, but who do what in Venezuela and all that kind of bacchanal, and that's why Venezuela offering to assist. Relax all yourself. The investigation is ongoing. Look, I saw last night on the news in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, something called the New River or something, where they're seeing some oil spill or fuel spill or whatnot, right? And they were saying that up to now, the authorities are unable to ascertain where this spill come from, what is the origin of it, who caused it. But this is the United States of America. And you know, people in this country like to say America know everything, even before while you're sleeping, they know your business. And you're trying to tell me right in Fort Lauderdale, they can't find out as yet what was the cause of this oil leak or this fuel spill or whatever in this river. And people are concerned about the ecological impact. But they expect here, because Dr. Rowley have a crystal ball. He's a Obia man, a Sia man. So he just want to lie down and the answers come to him. I never see people so listen. The amount of conspiracy theories, that's when you're desperate and you have nothing against the government. All the attempts over the last 9 years almost to come and allegations of corruption, nothing stick. So anything that they get an opportunity to put the clause in and give it life, they try to do that. And then what? It ends up going nowhere. Nowhere. Focus on all your crime talks. Then you go on the opposition leader Facebook page, all you're seeing is pictures of the crowd and the overflowing crowd and the overflowing crowd. But nothing about the substance of the anti-crime talks. This is what came out of it. These were the suggestions that came. Nothing. Only a set of pictures, post with pictures of the crowd inside and the crowd outside. All right. So you had the meeting in Chaguanas at the Borough Corporation, and what, the whole of Felicity come out? The whole of Felicity come out because it's right there. And they want to talk about crowd. You had one or two people, I don't know, Louis, he sing, every time they have this crime talks, he did. They ain't giving him, I don't know if it is he hopes to be seen so that they might give him an opportunity to come up on the platform and talk. But he up in front, prominent, sit down there with his leather bag and watch it. Talk after talk. You didn't learn anything from the first two that you need to go to the third one? I just asking, if it is that you want an opportunity to speak, like how they give Selvin Kojo an opportunity, well, let's raise up your hand. Well, after the meeting, go and whisper in camera ears and say, here, what now? You are the deputy political leader of a party called Hope. But you attending a UNC crime talk. Is this a sign of things to come? You're looking to form some sort of amalgamation? Gary Griffith attended one. This is the man who they tell us have all the answers to solve the crime situation in the country. Yeah? Gary the Great. Put back Gary as Commissioner of Police and Crime Fix. But he attended one. The first crime talks that they had, and since then we've not seen him. Vanished in the wind. Talking about NTA going to have their own crime talks. But I don't know if it is that he's still trying to crank it up, because it's more than 2 weeks now he made that announcement, and up to now, nothing. Nothing. No advancement on that whatsoever. Yeah? So you give us one statement, and all now, or the only thing he could find fit to post on Facebook now is he wanted a debate with Fitzgerald Hines. Because Mr. Hines was on a talk show the other morning on 91.1 with Rachel Price. And Rachel Price brought up the issue. She said she would love to see Gary and Mr. Hines in a room in a debate. And Mr. Hines said he would welcome that. So since then, all he doing is posting up things on the Facebook page and set up videos with let's get ready to rumble and all kind of thing, and trying to goad Mr. Hines into a debate. Yeah, but you are the ace crime sleuth, you know about broken windows theory and all kind of thing. You brought Bill Bratton here and Rudy Giuliani here and all of that. You have all the answers to crime, and yet still only one of the crime talks you've been present at. Really? How many of the people who were there last night, the same people, they keep recycling the same crowd? Not every night. Same crowd, all they keep bringing. Sending Maxi and Boss to pick up these people to bring them. Well, you went UNC Heartland last night, so you didn't need to do that. Because you know the faithful from Felicity and Endeavor and stuff, they will come out. And so they came out in their numbers to fit in the little hall, and they put a few chairs outside. But what came out of that? Anything of substance? The few people that they allowed to speak, a old man come up with a piece of paper, he have 4 solutions to crime, they tell him he could only talk about 2. Because in the interest of time, and they already passed their broadcast time, so they didn't want to have to pay TV6 and whoever else overtime. And what he come to talk about? His suggestions: make firearm users license more available to law-abiding citizens, right? And some I can't remember the other point, but it's basically a regurgitation of what Kamala Pazabi-Sessa has been saying, right? And the CCTV cameras. So you come to regurgitate what it is Kamala has been saying for months now. What is the point of these crime talks? Nobody came up with anything of substance. You had the counselor for wherever it is, somewhere in Shogunas East, coming to talk about she need a police post and in African ground because a young boy, a 9-year-old, was killed in African ground, and so long they've been advocating for police posts in African ground, but Mr. Hines and them they put in a police post in Edinburgh 500, but they can't put one in African ground. You have the Canopia police station right there. You have the Shogunas police station right there. And then if you have a police post in Edinburgh 500, so what, you want them to put a police post in every community? Really? Then there was this other girl. I really want to play that for you all, because it seemed like these two ladies were apparently auditioning for a Kobo Sweat in the Senate. They won't come. Look, Auntie Kamala, look, you see, we could get on like Wajang too. Look, I say, yeah, we had two token Africans that they bring to talk. You see, look, you have support. Look, I say, listen to how we could get on like some old Wajang. We know, because that is the criteria. If you want to get a Kobo Sweat in the Senate, you had to be able to behave like a Wajang. So look, we could do it too. See me. That's how they behaved last night. Right? Embarrassment. You get on like that and make a certain noise and stamp up your foot and all kind of thing on national TV. You're looking for a round of applause? Okay, very good. Very good. They trained you well. So last night was just another big circus. Nothing of substance going to come out of that. And telling people send all your suggestions to UNC, whatever, 2020, some nonsense or some website or something to send it to. And what going to come out of that? Absolutely nothing. But you know what they wouldn't talk about? Oh, the crime rate so terrible in Trinidad and so horrible. Jamaica just passed over 100 murders for the year, right? In less than 2 months, they surpassed 100 murders. Trinidad and Tobago's murder rate so far for the year, as of yesterday, was 65. For the same period last year, we were at 89 murders. We are at 65. So that is 24 less murders year to date than for the corresponding period last year. So that represents roughly about a 30% drop in murders for the same period last year. 30%. Gary the Great wouldn't talk about that. Mr. Statistics Man, you know, they love statistics. Rudal Munila loves statistics, yeah? He wouldn't talk about that. But a few months ago, Gary was only happy to post up an article talking about how Jamaica has recorded a 12% drop year to date in murders, right? 12% decline in murders. But in Trinidad here, you have a 30% decline. 30% decline. 65 as which is still not good, but 65 as opposed to 89. You know, we ain't gonna talk about that. No praise for Ula. No. These statistics they don't want to come and talk about. Why? Because now we can't let Ula look good, boy. Can't let Heinz look good. So let us continue to just talk in general terms and see how the crime situation in the country is so horrible. The last time I heard them talk about home invasion and so on. They're desperate. They're looking in every little nook and cranny. Here wanna find out if it had any little crime in your area last night, if anybody get robbed, if it had anybody get shoot or anything. Now. We're desperate because like news slow. One of the supporters, DJ Sheriff, go on his Facebook page and you will see every time a murder take place, he had to put up a big bulletin. So he giving you ball by ball. So if you want to know how many murders committed for the year, go on his Facebook page and you will see it. But the last week or so, had a shortage of murders. So all he posting up is about vehicles, stolen vehicles. Yeah? Crime business slow. Murder slow. So we need to post up some other thing to show crime taking place in the country. So let me see. You hear anybody car get thief? Yeah, send it for me now. Send a picture for me now. Yeah, I need to post it up. Because we need nothing about murders and so on. Something wrong. Something wrong. We don't want people to get no confidence in the government. So I need something to show them that crime still taking place. Even if murders, you know murders, or that other crimes taking place. And that's how they expect to win an election. Right? Feeding off of crime statistics. But the good statistics, you wouldn't come and talk about that. Post up that. Those are the things you need to post up. Because last year, you are well aware, he could just go back on his Facebook page from last year and see where he posted it. Murder number 89 as at the 19th or the 20th of February last year. You had 65 this time. But no talk about that. We're not interested in that conversation. We talk about giving people firearms, and then this old man last night coming to talk about in the United States, you could just walk into all you need is an ID, a form of valid ID, and you could just walk into any gun store and take a gun of your choice. So that's what he wanted. Yeah? Change the law so that if you're a law-abiding citizen, all you need to do, go with your ID card, your passport or your driver's permit, walk into a gun shop and say, which one you want? That one, look at, let me see that. Now 45. How much for that? But all is suffering. You don't have money to buy food. You have money to send your children to school, but you have money to buy guns. And not 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Right? But you didn't hear the last robbery that took place with these folks at Caribbean Glass. 3 guns taken. It didn't help the family. They take 3 guns. No help. Why am I getting these things? But that is the solution. He wanted Trinidad to come like the US. How many mass shootings have they had for the year so far? Right? Just last week, they had one in Kansas City during a parade for the winners of the Super Bowl. 1 woman dead and 22 persons injured. Right? Shooting. And they said was because was some dispute between some folks and who had guns, and it had an exchange of gunfire, right? Because some people hot-headed, exchange of gunfire, and 1 person killed, right? 1 family is now in mourning. The loved one is dead, 22 persons injured, persons in the hospital and all kind of thing. But that's the answer. That's the solution. Look what happened in KFC in Freeport. I don't know what was the cause of the disagreement, but 2 men end up in a scuffle. 1 man girl pull out a knife and give him. You see? Pull out the knife and give him. Yeah, choke him. Look, choke him. And who end up there? So you hand him the knife. You had the knife, you pull it out, open it and give him, look, choke him. And he decided to choke. Not knowing that the man he choked have a piece. Yes, he carry him. And after you done choke, you pull out the gun and drop 2 bullets in your backside. Today, you're on a slab in forensic. And a slab in forensic are waiting your autopsy. You're dead. And this girl so love you. You're dead on the ground there. She makes sure she clean out the pockets. You see in the video. Now, well, he have money. Can't leave that there. When the police come and they take up that body to go with it, that money go, and I could use that. Your man just get killed. Just get killed. Thanks to you fanning the flames. Right? Rather than tell him, boy, behave yourself now. Look, let me go. Forget that. We don't forget the chicken. We'll go somewhere else. We'll pull out knife and give him to choke. Right? Today he's a dead man. But you make sure you clean out the man's pocket. You're in grief, you know. Your man just get killed. But you could do you wait. Trinidad really is sometimes you could say Trinidad isn't a real place. Yes, Gasparello, thank you, Anis. Yes. I mean, when I saw that video, I am amazed how that thing play off. What should have just been a simple disagreement end up in a man getting his dead. And possibly the shooter, more than likely, the gun is probably an illegal firearm. Right? But these people, you're holding crime talk, so people that come and support you with your gun talk, load up the matic, cock it back, knock it on them and knock it again. So if it was as easy as this guy was saying last night to get gun, chances are both fellas would have had guns. And maybe one or two other people in KFC that night too. So it would have been gunplay. So instead of pulling out knife to choke, he would have pulled out his gun and the other one pull out gun and let me see who's the faster draw. And how many persons would have been collateral damage in the crossfire when bullet who duck in behind and pelting shots, innocent bystanders because bullets going through the window and people who just stand up outside probably waiting, they buy the KFC and waiting for a taxi, end up a statistic. But that is the solution of the UNC, you know, give everybody gun. When you're not Trinidad full of hot-tempered people, right? Shoot man, I feel like failure, shoot man. Well, sir, you feel you alone have a gun? Whip, you pull out your gun and let me see. Gunplay, and that's all it'll be here all over the country. When you open the Pandora's box, how are you closing it back? Because to close it back would be to embarrass yourself. To close it back would be an admission that you were wrong. But you know, they are populist. Populist. So let's talk about what the population love to hear. And let me get them what it is they want. So when they were in office between 2010 to 2015, they know a large cross-section of the population like handouts. So let me get them things. Let me just put money in their hand. Give their children laptop. They like that. We'll get kudos for that. Create baby grant. Yeah, slush fund to just give them money. Give out food card like that, man. 42, they're boasting. We gave out 42,000 food cards. 42,000 food cards to encourage what? Dependency. But does the PNM like to foster dependency syndrome? Yeah, that's what they love to say. But they were the ones. You want food card? Come. Land for the landless. Come, we give you permission to squat. But when they first came into office in 2010, remember, after it is, that was one of the things that they used to get into office. Don't forget that, you know. When all over the place, when it is that the PNM was trying to clamp down on squatting. Under Mr. Manning. Kamala right there, she's the best attorney it have. Look me here. I reach. I go and represent Oli in the court to stop this. And then when she succeeded in one or two, yes, she's the champion of the poor. She deserves to be prime minister. So we know she's supporting squatting. So when she become prime minister, yes, we'll get to squat. And as soon as she won the election, what happened? Robocop and them went down Cashew Gardens and Pineapple Smith and wherever it is and started to put up house. Because hey, the prime minister is the woman who does defend squatters. So think, yeah, well, go and take land, man, take land. And then when she realized, she opened up Pandora's box, send people to demolish the people's house and talking about you will not tolerate squatting and you will not tolerate the illegal occupation of state lands and so on. But you started it. You were singing a different tune before the election. And then you have the audacity when the media interviewed you, you say, well, yes, we're clamping down on illegal squatting. And next we're going down to Labray. And the following week they went down to Labray, just as she promised. Tear down the people's house. Poor old man in the house, they tear down the man's house with him in it. The media reported, I'll never forget that. The man bleeding through his ears and through his nose because they bring down the house on him. And what she had to say was, well, we will not tolerate. She didn't express any concern or commiseration with the man and his family, no. But then come and talk about land for the landless. Yes, so you're squatting, come, we'll give you a certificate of comfort. Populist. Take all you want. That is why they like to support her. They thief, but they do. At least we eat our food when she was there. And that's what we want. We want our prime minister to come who will just give us. We don't care where the money comes from. We don't care what the outcome will be. We don't care what's happening behind the scenes and the amount of debt that they put in the country in to be giving out these things. We don't care. That is their problem to deal with. We not had, they had to handle that. They had to find the money to pay it back. So we don't care. Just give us, give. And when this administration came in and said we need to exercise fiscal restraint, yes, the last administration was just giving all your things. But based on the finances as it is now, we can't continue all of these programs. We need to rationalize. We didn't want to hear that. Kamala was just giving we thing and then wasn't talking while you're talking. So we don't want to hear all you. Kamala give me 14%, or they want to give me 4%, that can't work. We don't care what debts were incurred for the back pay for that. We don't care about what debts were incurred to be able to continue to pay this on a monthly. We don't care about that. That's all your business. We put all your day to figure that out, all your study that. Right? If all you need to borrow and put the country in debt for the next 100 years, to hell with that. Let the future generations that come, they will deal with that. Go and find more oil and more gas and make more money to pay it off. But we just give you what we want. Give you thing. Anyway, 7701763. Let's see. Give me 1 second for this thing on here. A couple other things I wanted to touch on. We'll leave that for Tuesday. Give me 1 second and let me just show it to this device. This one, let me do this here. See what's going on here, boy. Let's see here. Hello, good morning. 1 sec. Let me just give me 1 second. This thing is connected. That's the problem. Hold on 1 moment. Why is this thing taking so long to connect? Alright, just give me 1 second. Let me just connect this thing here. I don't know what's going on. Right, we should be cooking with that. Hello, good morning. Hello?
Yes.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Can I go ahead now?
Yes, proceed.
Good. I'm very happy that you mentioned the name Zainul Hussain and Sebastian Vento, because he was not just a member of that integrity commission, he was a deputy chairman.
Yes.
And he told Zainul Hussain that there are still matters relating to that Emailgate matter that are as yet unaddressed.
Yes.
Unaddressed and need to be thoroughly investigated before you come to any final position on what has come to us. But no. Zainul Hussain sent it straight to the parliament. Your combination of events and your explanation, they are very much on song. They're right on target. Israel Khan is a lawyer and he used to work in Israel Khan's office and all of that. Right. And as soon as they sent it to the parliament, Rudat Mulilal stood up and made a recommendation. He moved a motion to the parliament. Remember, with Mark was the Speaker of the House, eh?
Yes.
He made a recommendation that Dr. Keith Rowley be kicked out of the parliament. And that resulted in the man being removed from the parliament immediately. And that began the downward slide towards a most ignominious defeat in the general election of that year.
Yes.
It started a few months before with Vanilla Allen Toppin and the fact that his father raped his mother, and almost by predisposition, Dr. Rowley will also be a rapist. And she claimed that he raped a young woman in Tobago, which was denied in a teleconference situation long after anyway.
Yes.
But you're right about Sebastian Vento. He said, this is a disgrace. We have not completed investigation, and there's a lot more to be examined. But you know, the issue of the connection between Zainul Faith and his former boss was so strong, and the activism was so strong that he couldn't resist the urge to clear the setter's name immediately.
Correct.
And that began the precipitous fall towards that defeat in the general election. Once you kicked Dr. Rowley out of the parliament, people watching on, people know what was happening. So you left Diego Martin West without representation. And he is out of the parliament. And they had to end up paying the man for illegitimately removing him from the parliament. Then secondly, that meeting last night, I had told somebody with whom I had spoken earlier in the day that I was not going to listen to that because I knew what was going to happen, because I knew they brought Kojo there for a specific purpose, and that was to do for them what they were so cowardly and want to do but can't do. They want to lick up Dr. Rowley personally. So they would, typical, reminiscent of the plantation, set a thief to catch a thief, get a black man who used to betray his own fellows on the estate. So they bring this black man there on the platform to lick up the other black man, which I am sure is what he did. And in addition to that, I wonder if all those people, all those UNC supporters, those Indians sitting down there, I wonder if they know or they knew that years ago, when Kojo used to write a column in The Guardian, that he described the UNC as the uncivilized national crooks. That was his explanation for the acronym UNC, not United National Congress, uncivilized national crooks. And the evidence is there. Let Jennifer Frederick send it to you if you haven't received it before. And finally, in other words, the Indian party bring him there. And he said the stinkiest thing about their very pristine Indian party back in 2001 and around that time. And it's not once he described them like that. But then finally, to get to this thing about the Cesar's statement about the new appointee to the chairmanship of the Integrity Commission, it is very simple and easy to understand. So she claims that he's a friend of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and he's their personal friend, he's their neighbor, and all of that. That is just 1% of the real issue. The real issue is that the real focus of the attack is on Christine Kangaloo. In other words, how dare you, and this is the rub with the UNC, and they're so predictable. You always know what they're coming with, and you must be able to see it from a mile off. The issue is, how dare you, as an Indian woman, fire or not renew the contract of an Indian man like us? You're an Indian woman. You get rid of this man, and you bring an African man. You bring an African man. What? You bring him there to protect Rowley from what our Indian man was doing with Rowley and the investigation. So it is pure, unadulterated, unvarnished race and going after the president. But the president is just a conduit of what they really mean and what they really want to say, but which they cannot say. But those of us with discerning eyes and ears would know that it is an outright, nasty, racist attack using Christine Kangaloo as an Indian woman to do what they want to do, but too cowardly to do what they want to do, but can't do. Thank you, Mr. Rubin. Good morning.
You,
and thanks for allowing me.
No problem. See, Jenny, call me back, 770-1763. May say good morning to Mr. Chance. I don't know what happened on Sunday with Mr. Chance call. But if he's listening, he can call me back. I know he normally plays tennis on a Tuesday. See. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Dominic,
Yes, sir.
what's going on?
All is well, sir. All is well.
Hey, Dominic, you listened to the Joint Select Committee meeting yesterday?
With Lisa Igard, yes, I did.
You listened carefully?
No, I didn't listen carefully.
You think any head's going to roll in TSTP?
I can't say.
I call for that. Hey, Dominic.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Rowley gone Guyana.
Mm-hmm.
Remember there was a meeting back in the days in Guyana? And he refused to go to it. He went to Qatar.
Oh, Lord.
And that is because he wanted Maduro to be seated at the meeting in Qatar.
Mm.
He's gone this time, though. Hey, Dominic, I will leave it here.
Thank you, sir. Well, as you said, he went to Qatar, and I don't know if you had noticed, I mentioned at the start that Dr. Rowley had a meeting yesterday with the vice chairman of the company called Assets Group, which is a Qatari company that is about to invest $300 million US in Guyana for the construction of a 5-star hotel, along with villas and apartment buildings. And yes, so there's a picture of Dr. Rowley Stuart Young having conversations with the representatives of that company, and hopefully it would bear fruit. So it seems him going to Qatar would have augured well for that meeting yesterday. Jenny, morning.
Hi, morning, Dominic. Morning to all those who looked on to facts and stubborn things. This Tashia Boris, she seemed to be fixated on the history of Tobago when they were War of Grenada. But apparently she already had a history about why they became a War of Trinidad. And that is because Tobago was on the brink of bankruptcy. There was no work, land was selling cheap, and people were running off the island. So what happened when there was a War of Grenada? It didn't work for them. Now all of us love Grenada because all of our ancestors in the Caribbean here, the domesticated enslaved Africans, came from Grenada and St. Vincent and those islands when Spain wanted to develop Trinidad, and there was this Trinidad population. So all of us have Grenadian roots or Vincentian roots, so that is not the issue. But her contention is always that they were a War of Grenada, and she just sticks at that. And not understanding it became a War of Trinidad because Tobago couldn't do it on their own, and Grenada wasn't helping them to do it on their own. So she needs to understand that part of history. And when she's speaking about unwash, I want to ask her, because I'm asking a question. How did you become an assemblyman in the THA? I'm asking a question. You wasn't unwashed and filthy and all that when it was moving up and down with Watson Solomon joke. Who it is alleged would have given you your political legs. But you're not at all about unwashed now. You're starting to sound, in my opinion, like a religious zealot. Because I think I heard in the response to the Honorable Judge Frank C. Passad, when he spoke about somebody threatening, the person called him infidel or something like that. So is it all of a sudden now we're going to be talking about religious intolerance and throwing out names at people? So I leave Tashia Boris right there because she is a failure. She went to Grenada last Carnival for Tobago, and we expected the whole spice to be done in Tobago with the jab. But when you look at the tourists that came there, it was domestic tourists from Trinidad, and you could account Spice Band members on your hand. So I see as a failure trying to get relevance. And not only that, I'm asking a question. Tashia, was you the one beating a man in Scarborough? And was your daughter the one beating a girl in school? So is it that you are a bully? And based on that, that is how you get on, how you get on. So I move on. Sell out Kojo. I'm going to be speaking figuratively here. The only thing you didn't do, sell out Kojo, last night is drop your pants, skin your bamsi publicly for all we to see. Because you the same man, sell out Kojo, who would have dubbed the UNC the uncivilized national crooks. So I don't understand how you're going to sit between the uncivilized national crooks to talk about crime. But you know what? You're in a company of undistinguished gentlemen and women. Because right there, there's a man who is before the court on $1 million bail. And he's a senior man in the UNC. Gary Griffith would have said that the UNC is involved with criminals. And he was at the crime talk, you don't see him again. In fact, he was bringing so much fear to people that he was comfortable enough, he and his wife, to come out and play mass. Right, to tell you how safe they felt under the Commissioner of Police, Earl Christopher. Also, Dr. Devon Maraj would have said that Kamala services is aware of human trafficking in the UNC. But yet we have Selwyn Kojo, Sellout Kojo, prostrating himself, figuratively speaking, Bamsi exposed for people to see. Is it Sellout Kojo because you have retired from university in America? Is it that you're looking for work? So you're showing how you could prostrate yourself in front of who? The queen what? The mother of what? But we will continue the conversation. So Tashia, you need to hush. Because you was relatively a nobody. Just like all the rest of them. Before Juke make all you somebody. Challenge me on that. And we from the PSF always said, because Juke told us that, it's PSF money he take without proper approval to make all you something. So you should talk about unwash. You need to go wash from the filth of how that money came for to launch the PDP in the Magdalena. Talk about them thing. When all of us dressing in clothes, all of us dressing like all these twins. Go and wash yourself from that and ask yourself, where'd you get that money from? And the tears of the members of the PSA who paid $100 every month and wasn't getting no type of representation under Juke. And still ain't getting it under this next consumer jackass. Ask yourself, Tashia, you go wash yourself from the stench of that. You little imps. And Kojo, we see you as a sellout. You don't sell your collar, everything. You dress out there. You ain't even naked again. You're just invisible now. You will sell out piece of filth. Use our next one. I say so. Have a blessed morning, though.
Thank you, Jay. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, darling.
Morning.
You know, SC means stale curry. That's how good you know. Stale curry. You know, amazing about the people in yellow is always truth when they talk. Is Rowdy bringing the badge? Is always truth when they talk. But like when them talk, how is that? How come Mr. Rowdy have taken the badge? Is going to Guyana. Guyana should pick up her biggest panty and speak the truth. Is the hate for this black man fed off of UNC hate for the black man? Because if it's your country, I'm like, I'm coming by you. Okay? Your gate following me, coming in. Is my fault or your fault? Won't you, as a person of integrity, take blame for your bad gate following on me? Or you will blame me? Guyana, hear this. Do not feed off UNC hate. We are a sovereign nation. You are old enough to know right from wrong. Do not take chain up by UNC. They're looking for outside interference to puff up themselves. But you know what? When you burst a balloon, it cannot use. UNC is a hot air balloon that's full of human manure. People get for safety. UNC is not about Tobago. It's about themselves and will always be. Kamala is the Prime Minister, President. The flag is yellow. If you love your nation, whether pink, green, or orange, you're going to put the nation's affairs first. It's all about the treasury, hobnobbing, who you could meet and will travel. They say, what with this? I'm not worried, this president, right? Nepotism. When Kamala's sister flew the nations with her, what her portfolio in government? Was your PS? IU2? What was her portfolio? Because you have so much leave per year. And you carry out the country 6 times in 1 year with exhaustion leave. How is it wrong with that? Parents are going away again, PM going away again. His wife go with him, teachers go with him, his sister, brother. You're always seeing what PNM do, but UNC, you are the biggest hypocrite that has ever been in the Caribbean. You talk so much, but you expose your backside to public view. You are double standard of the lowest order, and people hear me well. This next one, Agent Ishmael, everything he's telling about people, tape it. Saved. You know why? He won't cocoa right away. When you bad talk people, how would right? Young man from my state, made a joke out of him. He said, sue you. People start taping things, taking note. So when we try to head the fan, put it in their face. Don't have a good day, but you will be blessed.
You too. Thank you so much. Selwyn by Selwyn. I wonder if I could find this thing. Selwyn, they know how to pick them, man. Let me see if I could find this thing. 770-1763. I don't know who she has next. Maybe at the next one we might see they might get Louis Ablai. Hello, good morning.
Hey, Dominic.
Yes, sir.
You know I don't like to call twice.
What you forget? What did you forget?
But on a lighter note, I have a friend who came to look for me. I asked him if you know Dominic Romay.
Oh, Lord Father.
He said, yes, I the wife and I just listen to his program. He's an ex-licensing officer. Derek Marshall and his wife. Mrs. Marshall, good morning. I know they're listening to your program.
Nice. Good morning to Mr. Marshall.
So I had to give him a shout out this morning.
Nice.
So Dominic on a lighter note.
Thank you.
I will be with you.
Thank you. Good morning to Mr. Marshall and his wife. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Romay.
Yes, sir.
Just one more point I want to make very quickly. We have had several chairmen of the Integrity Commission over the years. Okay? And I cannot recall one instance where any chairman of the Integrity Commission has ever either sought or received assistance from lawyers in private practice to do work for the Integrity Commission pro bono. This is a first. This has never happened before because the Integrity Commission has a legal department.
Yes.
They have a legal department. How dare you be bringing people from private practice, whether it is coming from you or whether it is coming from them, to offer their skills to the Integrity Commission. Look at the names, all of them have links to the UNC. You'll have a character like Kyle Tatlansing and Lala. You have them offering their services pro bono. It means that you are clearly operating from a point of view of preferential treatment, prejudice, and bias. Because you are in the middle of investigating Dr. Rowley, and up come these three people from private practice to offer their services pro bono. That has never happened before in this country. And the president was quite right to send him packing and not renew his contract. He has no business. And in any case, even while he was chairman of the Integrity Commission, and before he became chairman of the Integrity Commission, but even while he was chairman, he used to write articles in The Guardian critical of this administration. Yes, talking about social issues and political issues, and we could do better on crime and racial issues and so on in the country. How could you have a character like that as the chairman of the Integrity Commission? But the main thing is, you cannot have somebody consorting with people in private practice where you are threatening people, public officers, that you're going to put them in the court for not making their declarations to the Integrity Commission. What is the context in which you are harboring lawyers from private practice to help you to do your work? That is unheard of. It is absurd. It is ridiculous. And the president was quite right in her deliberation and in a proper judgment to remove you from office and have the likes of you never hold that in a sensitive position again in this country. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Brian, morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
How are you?
I am good, and yourself?
Dominic?
Yes, sir.
I need to find out something from you. Could you explain to me and the listening public how Jamaica, Barbados, and Grenada could help us with the oil spill?
I was wondering the same thing.
I just trying, since last night when I heard it on the news, I tried to understand Tasha Boris. But Tasha Boris is saying as well, and this is also very important, that if we want she to go and do them civil servant work to pay the people the money that is being owed to them since Carnival last year, like we want her to go and do them work too. But when thing happened in Trinidad, there's colony minister in Trinidad. There is colony minister, national security, because he ain't doing his work to prevent murder and to prevent this and to prevent that, although all the policies are there. But she ain't going to do nobody work because apparently we want her to go and do the civil servants work to pay people who ain't getting money. Imagine that. What good for the goose, eh? Dominic, last night I was watching off and on Sellout Kojo. And Sellout Kojo, can you put it right, you know? Because like you know, Guti look back. That's it. Every 2 minutes, he had to look back at the political leader and talk to her about something during his narrative. Every 2 minutes, he had to look back. Even gave her a book. But I want to tell Sellout Kojo, that book right now in the Labas in South Trinidad, because Sabi says, I'm going to read that book, Sellout Kojo. You understand? But when I watch this man, looking hungry in the old Jay-Z, talking about ridiculing African people, and talking about slavery, and all of these sorts of things last night. No solution whatsoever for the last 3 meetings to crime. Not one. I am asking the people who are saying now they're smiling. We see the face how they're smiling when they see Kojo the way he's talking about African people. Do that look like him? And they're smiling. And he had nothing to offer, no solution whatsoever to offer with respect to crime and criminality in this country. And every time they have this meeting, it's one of people that look like you and me are the feature speakers with no solutions. But she get rid of Gary. Guys, it for Gary. Gary out the door. You understand? But Gary can't have no meeting, Dominic, because nobody wouldn't come. Outside his son, the wife, and 1 or 2 neighbors. That's it. Nobody wouldn't come. That's why he can't afford to have any meeting. He can't get the quorum yet to have any meeting. Because I'm still waiting to see where and when. The only place I see could have it is in the backyard. Call the neighbors around, get them things to eat and drink, and say, by the way, let me chat now. Put up a little camera or something. But he can't have no meeting. Nobody wouldn't come. Gary has to understand that the people who voted for him are UNC, as we told him. We warned him and we told him about it. But he didn't listen. So he wants to go his own way because he's not getting his way under Kamla Prasad Bisesa. So he wants to move away, but he's moving away on his own. Because those people who voted for him are UNC. And I guess he must get the understanding now and he getting the picture. Because the calls that he may have made about meetings, he ain't getting no support. But you shall see. So they're having another meeting the 4th of next month. I'm not advertising for them. But the point is, I want to see you go be the next African, the next sellout African, who will go there to give the feature speech. Yes? Because everybody have a little axe to grind because they ain't getting nothing from Dr. Rowley. You understand? And I have to look at people coming to talk to me about crime. I have to look at people who before the court come and talk to me about crime. People out on bail talking to me about crime. And they have absolutely no shame and no problem with it. And every time they have a meeting, she always have to call a particular name. Hello, Johnny. Hello, Johnny Abraham. Everybody looking for a walk in 2025. Everybody looking for a little something. So good old Johnny want to be elevated to COP apparently. So he believes that's what he'll be elevated to. So every time they have a meeting, seeing the same faces coming up there, hungry, looking for a little something to eat, a little crumb, so that the rest of them can get the entire plate of food with the meat, and them gone. This is what it's about, Dominic. It's about nothing else. But up to now, they have not offered us anything, any solution whatsoever. And we have to stay here and listen to that. After this morning on the television, I had to see the same faces talking about energy. Karen Nunes, the sheriff, talking on energy. What you know about energy? I thought she was in finance.
Oh boy.
Was she talking about energy? And this is my concern with these hosts calling the same names all the time. It was Ramna Ryan a few days ago. He's now a consultant. Former minister, now consultant. Opposition leader, former prime minister. Give them the titles because they love it. You're correct, they want to see the name in lights. They don't see something wrong. And there are people looking like you and me, and the lady you was referring to who spoke at the meeting, well, her name was, I think, Patrice Critchlow. Or Precious Critchlow, I think it is. Yes.
Yes.
Precisely.
Yes, that is correct.
Precious Critchlow. I saw her. I said, wow, look at you, girl. Look at you. Nothing to say. I'm going to get something to say, and you just put it on your little phone there, and you read it out, and that's it. And you go feeling good with your chest big up. And there will be more crime in enterprise because they ain't doing nothing for you. But you're going to talk about Africa grounds, and all kind of stupidness. Right there, put a post in Africa grounds. These people just not thinking, and it's sad that you're seeing people that look like, and I keep saying it, that look like you and me, selling out. And they have nothing to get except crumbs, but they feel good. And they have not learned their lesson. Because the one from Diego Martin West, where is she today? Up in front talking. Where is she today? But they wouldn't learn. But 2025 will come around and then they will understand perhaps. Or maybe they may not. And we'll continue down the same road again. Dominic, you have a great day.
You too, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, boy. Never a dull moment with these folks, boy. They be saying Rambali run Munilal outside the Hindu school, the same school they refused to name it after. Yes. Baka, I don't understand how they as they are supposed they are parliamentary colleagues. How do you relate to each other? How? And only fighting each other in public, you ain't care. Mr. Chance, morning.
Morning, Mr. Eden. Right?
I am good.
Yeah, someday I learned something. I don't know if it's a current or something, but it's called dropped.
Right.
Yeah. First of all, I just want to talk on 3 areas that you discussed on. One is what took place with respect to the Ramai Hindu school, because I was alerted to that and I listened to it live. And I'm not going to my focus today will be on Sellout Kojo, as that's the name we're giving him all the time. Okay? But let me just say that situation pertaining to that school tells us what is really in the bowels of the UNC. You know, the type of confusion, the type of chaos, the type of animosity on religious grounds, and that is the basis of what is going to be coming part of if we take God our thoughts and put them in government, you know. You have Rambali taking a scathing attack on Mulilal. I listened to it live, and there was a view that he was only interested in money and fame. And here you have that being put out in the public. I'm surprised that no media, national media house brought that to our attention. I'm sure that happened somewhere pertaining to the PNM. That will be brought on the attention to our attention. But I will say that I'll leave that there because I mean we recognize that and we understand that we always see this principle. Anything but the PNM is chaos and confusion, and we saw a little part of that. The second comment I want to make is pertaining to the Prime Minister's statement in the Parliament. I want to stand by the Prime Minister's statement in the Parliament, and I'm not going to be drawn into all the other conspiracies. Well, you know, quite recently they saw a bag with cocaine and they put everything connected to that. This cocaine bag is everything you can think about. They're going to conspire and bring it around all of that. But the Prime Minister made a statement in the Parliament, and I'm standing by that. And I think you made that comment that these investigations are ongoing and that no government, people on the side like P.S. Robinson and all of them, will continue to make all their wild statements. But when a government comes to make a statement, they have to be very definite and precise and based upon expertise and expert advice. And I am awaiting on that. And finally, my quick point now is on what we dub him Sellout Kojo. And I'll tell you why I feel very strongly about this matter with Dr. Sellout Kojo, because I know him well. I want to let you all know he was part of our team in Tulapuna to some extent in the development of our political strategies and stuff over the last 15 years. So it was painful for me to see, because you're there. He's a man I speak to, I spoke to on several occasions, sat together. And this man has actually demonstrated to all of us, because I too was a part of NIAF, National Association for the Empowerment of African People. So we know him well. And we recognize somewhere that he slipped through the crack. And unfortunately, I am of the view now that he has retired from the university in the United States, and as Jenny put it, he's looking to come to Trinidad for work. It's sad.
Yes.
There's a man of that stature. We're not going to take away that from him. He's well researched in several areas. But how could a man like that reduce himself like that? To go, I mean, you know what he's being used at, in my humble opinion? He was the person used by the UNC after having crashed all the efforts they brought forward to sabotage the carnival. And the carnival went on with great success. Thousands of persons coming, visitors coming, and our own people in Trinidad and Tobago going out to all events. That crashed. So they had to bring this black man to resuscitate the crime talk. Could you imagine that?
Yes.
A man, he has left the United States to come now, and he's the main figure. And to tell you that, they promised him so many things, they bring him front and center on TV 6 last night, you know. So he just said, look, let me come out in Trinidad and Tobago. I want to tell the people of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Trinidad does not live here. You understand?
Yes.
So he just coming here, and that is, as I said, as Jenny said, it's a look for work. So we want to tell him that we recognize what he's doing, we recognize what he's being used for. And so very sadly, I looked at him last night, and every now and again, he's looking back for agreement from Kamala Prasad Bisasa. Why he's talking, he say, yes, leader? Yes, leader, what you think, leader? Kim, what do you think? He's just looking back. For a man of that stature, man. Looking back for him, talk for them. And when he got signals, I want to tell you, on several occasions, he got a signal to wind up. And here you have this man, a professor. A man with such an intellectual background, after all these years of hard work and stuff, he turned around and he said, Tim, give me some more time. I run out. I reached number 13. Can you imagine that? That is why that name sellout is most appropriate. Begging for time on a UNC platform. And let me revise this. Having over the years, what Mr. Said said in 2001, 9th of September, described the UNC as uncivilized national crooks. Dr. Koja, you know what a crook is? And you come on the platform with these uncivilized national crooks. I know it is a painful thing. You're talking about crime. Crime and crooks go together. Ojo? Crime and crook, they go together. But you are on the platform having described the UNC as uncivilized national crooks, and then you talking about crime. And every minute you're looking back. You're looking back to the leader. After say, well, yeah, boy, talk, Kojo, talk, boy. Talk, you're talking for me. Such a shame and a disgrace. Sell out, Kojo. Thank you very much, Dominic.
Thank you, sir. Seven 1763. Still have a few. We have some time left, man. You see some of the comments here. Let's see. I see some, right? So I see some folks asking if we saw the Fuad Khan did a live speaking about the proposed increases in salaries for members of parliament and other public officials, and this guy took him to task. Well, in Shanishmel, posted it up on his Facebook page. Not that I'm sending you all there, but yeah, Mr. Khan is supporting it. He's telling his former parliamentary colleagues to take the increase because of the amount of work that they do, and the other persons who feel that. Let me see here. I mean, I had the time, man. So we'll see. I don't really care because he used a little bit of flowery language in it. So 7701763. Just let me get this here. I'll play it for you all quickly. I don't know if Google would have played it as yet, but probably. Just get this here. Give me 1 second. Inshan's lawyers advise Kroko to pay up or face further costs. So he posted that a few minutes ago.
Morning, people. Today is Sunday. You hit with the news that the Salary Review Commission has indicated to the Prime Minister that they should get more money, more TT dollars, increase the TT dollars, and they have removed certain remunerations, which they are not allowed to do. You're not supposed to do that, SRC. But then again, you have to appease a population. However, when you look at the TT dollars that the Prime Minister is getting, which is less than 10,000 US a month, to run a big country like Trinidad and Tobago, the leader of the opposition, as the Prime Minister and the members of Parliament, do a lot of hard work that you all don't see. And because you all come and cost them for no reason at all and saying that they should do this and they should do that, why the hell all you do put all yourself up for elections and go and do what all they say all you could do? The unions want more money, but yet they go to the industrial court and attack people and employers because they, in the industrial court, they don't get cost when they lose, so employers pay. The unions are responsible for a lot of the negative movement in Trinidad and Tobago together with the industrial court. So if the Prime Minister has to get an extra set of money to run this place, less than 10,000 US a month, or you should not deny him that, or deny the opposition leader or the members of Parliament. If any member of Parliament said they did not get that, you're an ass. Because the kind of work you have to do, the kind of money you have to give out, the kind of hampers you have to give out, the kind of money you have to give to poor people when they come to the office, you could take that money and depart it. But at the end of the day, the general population should look and see why you can't get a cashier between 12 and 1 in license office, why you can't get a cashier in inland revenue in between 12 and 1, why they have to close up at 3. And these are the things you have to look at. And the public servants are saying that they want more, and the Prime Minister should get more than this and more than that. If the salary, I would disband the Salary Review Commission, and I would get the Cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago determine or the remunerations for parliamentarians, parliament, etc., because it's hard work. Running a constituency, doing work in the parliament, doing work in the government is hard work. And the money that you pay those people don't cut it. If I had a choice, I would give the Prime Minister $25,000 US tax-free per month, the members of Parliament accordingly, and the leader of the opposition accordingly. The ministers work their ass off, believe it or not, and they're supposed to be remunerated properly. We should do like Singapore, have presidential elections, and let the president hire the best people trying to be able and pay them what a CEO in the private sector get to run this country. You see the thing about it, because you're not there, people, you don't know what's going on, and because members of Parliament allow you to cost them and they don't cost you back, all you can tell them what they want. But I say take the money, and anybody who trying to pretend they don't want money, doing something else. Because if you're giving your time and effort to the people of your constituency and the thing, you need that money to buy things for poor ass people who come to you and you have to help them. So stop talking shit and trying to make we see that you don't need, you don't want, you do this, you do that. No, take the money from the Salary Review Commission and demand more, because it's not enough.
That's what I can. So, his views on it. I see the leader of the opposition made the point last night to say she's opposed to the increase in the salaries. Give it to the public servants who deserve it. Forget Kamala, forget Rowley, forget the ministers. Give it to the others who deserve it. Right. You know, I don't know who they think they're fooling. I really don't know who they think they're fooling. Because at the end of the day, they know that it can be passed without their support, and therefore they come up with this nonsense. Oh, they do support it and they do support it. But miss me with that nonsense, Nakama. They tried that before, and you don't want it. You are the highest paid public servant in this country. I'm talking about Dr. Rowley want to feather his nest because you know he leaving office just now, and so he wants to make sure that pension right up and all kind of nonsense. The same pension that you receiving now, the same salary what he getting paid for to do work, the salary that Dr. Rowley is receiving to work for Trinidad and Tobago, you receiving it as a pension. So you could rock back and get up 9 o'clock in the morning, right? You can lay his whole day. Even when you in his position and you were collecting that salary, what were you doing? Nothing. Taking, according to Gary Griffith, taking 5-day weekends. Dr. Rowley ain't taking no 5-day weekends. Probably take 1 day for the week or 2 days. He take a few hours and he go on the golf course to relax and be stressed. But you getting his salary for doing nothing. Right? Just to complain and talk rubbish about load up the matic. All that money that he working hard for, you getting it as a pension going in your account every month. You good. But your supporters ain't gonna talk about that, you know. And you're getting $30,000 as the leader of the opposition. Plus you're getting $17,000 as an elected MP. To do what? When was the last time your constituents see you? Look, Jenny.
Yeah, Dominic, and that's exactly what I was going to say. Kamala Persad will not let the public of Trinidad and Tobago know she's the highest paid public officer in this country. Having the Prime Minister's salary, she's the only living Prime Minister who is still, getting and all those things you said. Somebody would have done some rough calculation and it comes up to about $170-something thousand a month. So she can afford to say what she's saying. But that conversation about the recommendation to increase in salaries is a very political one and it is highly emotional. A couple of reasons. People seem to be thinking it's a recommendation to increase Dr. Rowley's salary.
Yes.
They're missing the point is a recommendation to increase the salaries of about 800 and something public officers. Because the SRC, has the authority under the law, Section 140 of the Constitution and Section 141(1) of the Constitution, that they have the authority to ever so often make recommendations to this over 800 and something high officials in the public service. So it has to do with coroners, acting coroners, heads of defense force, and all the other agencies. It's not just politicians. Politicians is just one grouping of the positions and people that they review salaries for. When they speak and they want to put the 4% and the public officers join to that, those are two different things. The public servants are about 70,000 or 80,000 strong. And there is a legal process that has to happen for public officers to get or don't get an increase in salary. And that is laid out in the Industrial Relations Act and the Civil Service Act. And the process is every 3 years, the CPO, on advice of the minister or the union, initiates the negotiations for a new collective period for terms and conditions of employment, which will include benefits and all the rights for workers. Coming out of that, you have a collective agreement. So the SRC has nothing to do with us. Not only that, no union has been able to bring evidence and data while they were negotiating in front of the CPO when the government offered the 4% for 2014 to 16 and 17 to 19. They have not been able to show any data that the government is lying and the government could have paid more for that period that gone. People not understand is the period that gone. And if you have wage proposal before the CPO for 14, 16, or even 17, 19, it don't matter how good the country doing now. The economy of the country now has nothing to do with the period that is under negotiations. So nobody can say, well, the government doing good now, the country doing good now, so we could get more money for the last 6 periods, or the 2 periods that gone, 2 3-year periods. That is not how it works. The only way this economy will factor into wage negotiations now is when the unions send in fresh proposal, those who have accepted the 4% for the new period 2020, 21, 22. That is when they could use evidence and data to show that the government is in a better place, the economy is in a better place, and that you're looking for more than 4%. But that 4% is a done deal, and because so many unions would have accepted the 4%, because they couldn't come up with no evidence to show the government could pay more. So they decided to take the 4% for those 6 years and give the members opportunity to go back in front of the CPO for the period 2020, 21, and 22. Unlike the PSA, NUGFW, and contracted workers who continue to prolong this process, one might end up seeing their members not being able to sit before the CPO with the executive or the union, of course, to negotiate for a new period. Because there's another period has started, 2023, 24, and 25. That's another negotiating period. And because you cannot go before the CPO for a period less than 3 years, you know that the next time you're going before the CPO, it's going to be 2026. And that is when Leroy Batiste, NUGFW Lambert, and the one from contracted workers have the members in a position where they want to refuse the 4%. They have no data to show the government could pay more than the 4%. And because of that, workers are still stuck from those unions on 2013 salary in 2024, and they want to blame the government. I put it squarely on the shoulders of the unions, because if they're saying that the CPO was not willing to meet with them to treat for negotiation for those periods gone, under the law in the Industrial Relations Act, they could have gone to the High Court and filed judicial review of the section that says that the CPO via the Minister of Finance ought to meet and treat with the unions for the purpose of negotiation every 3 years. They could have taken those acts and those sections, take it to the High Court to meet, for the High Court to make a determination whether or not the CPO via the minister would have committed an industrial relation offense. None of them did that. They sat down there waiting till whenever the CPO had negotiated, started negotiation about in 2020 something, when they had a big forum virtually where the Ministry of Finance presented the economic outlook at Trinidad and Tobago, and that is when the negotiation restarted. But for all those years gone, none of them unions made a decision to take the CPO and the Minister of Finance to court for failing to meet and treat with the unions for the purpose of negotiation. If that is what they say, why we're in the position we are. So no union leader, especially Lambert, Batiste, and the woman from contracted workers could come and fool me and take no Section 22, one of the Civil Service Act, which gives the special tribunal the authority to make any award that come before it is no longer 3 years, 5 years. And if we have before the special tribunal 2 3-year period, and it has now become 2 5-year period, and the special tribunal is saying the 4% is for 10 years, tell me what court is going to say that the special tribunal don't have the authority to follow the law. The only thing might come out of this is that the High Court say deal with 1 5 year at a time special tribunal. And when they go back in front of the special tribunal, 5 years, 2%. 5 years, 2%. It's still 10 years, 4%. So they're on games. And before I go, it is alleged that Liberty was offered the minister labor position. If God forbid, the UNC come back in office in 2025, it has been alleged. And we know Lambert is a UNC because he is an acting independent senator. He even acted as the president of the Senate. He can even act as the president of this country. So we know he's a UNC. So at the end of the day, there's politics they're playing, but the members of the unions who still haven't got me 4%. And they want to use this because as he said, come out and talking. They want to use this SRC recommendation to create some strike. But they won't get away with it because we want Anisette to tell me how much money he does get as the president of SWWTU. We want the PSA president to tell me how much money he does get as the PSA president. Roche, who works no way, all them retirees, how much money all of us get, and who it is would have recommended that type of money all they getting. And I ask, before I go, is all the money more than the prime minister of this country? So I'll make you have a blessing.
Thank you, Jen. (7701763). We still have a little bit of time. Let me see here. Let's see what some of you folks are saying in the comments here. Yes. I think it's so true. Someone says Coco should pay Sabha at Bamboo Mount $5 per month. The man say he going and when Coco pays him the money, he is going to use it for the hospital that they are building by Baraka Grounds, which I think was the original purpose for which those lands were given to the Muslim community. And so there's a big building going up there. So he say, and in fact, I think somebody had called in on this program to ask him about that. The person was doing it in a facetious way, because all of the money that Baraka Grounds is making with the different commercial entities that they have on the compound, concerns were raised about it. So, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Anisette was on another frequency Monday saying that he get $13,000 a month. That is what he said? And he said, yeah, he was on another frequency Monday when they interviewed him, and he said his salary is $13,000 a month. Yeah. You think they're easy? A bunch of M's and Kojo on them. Just where Coco sings, I were there. You have a blessed day, darling. Enjoy the day.
Thank you. See here. Right. So this reading, I think, is this one. Let me see something here. So according to Ansel Dennis, speaking about Secretary Boris, he says the Secretary believes that Grenada and others are better prepared than our central government to assist us with the oil spill disaster. Recently, she also demonstrated the belief that Grenada is better prepared than Trinidad to assist us with our carnival. This explains why they refused assistance with the oil spill from the central government until water was more than flour and parts of the shoreline were already covered in oil. Meanwhile, the greater part of both the official and volunteer support we've received thus far is from Trinidad. The rantings of a frustrated and clueless secretary who might be washed and literate, but also highly ungrateful and illogical. Ansel has such a way with words. Ah, boy. Never a dull moment in sweet TNT, either on the Isle of Trinidad or across there in Tobago. Yeah, but clearly things are going well. Just 2 weeks on, and Pali is offering assistance to Grenada and others. I don't know. Tashia is complaining that they need to consult with Trinidad. to get permission to make a phone call. Who Fali consulted with to offer Tobago's assistance to Grenada and any other territory that would be impacted? Did he consult with Dr. Rowley? So clearly, I don't know what she's talking about. So Fali talking, and as he told Dr. Rowley, stay out of Tobago business, mind your damn business. Well, all right. So Tobago business is not Rowley business. So we leave it so. There was something else, but I will touch on that Tuesday, where I saw Justice C. Prasad is asking or requesting that he get back his police security detail because he claims that in the wake of the judgment involving Krokro that he heard on a radio program, threats were made. The callers were calling him and saying some of the most disparaging things, calling him a racist and so on. And he's concerned about his life. I imagine he's talking about Juliet's program with Mr. Ruka. And so based on what he heard, he wants to get back his security detail. All right. Brian. Brian. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Morning, Dominic.
Good morning.
I'll be a silent listener most of the time.
Yes.
To call only time. I just call in there to say that Pali said that he received a WhatsApp that with Dr. Rowley and the oil and petrotrin refinery and those sort of things.
Yes.
Now that I've heard on the radio station, the Kokia radio station, saying that meeting news that there was some drugs was found that it linked to the vessels. I wonder if the police would ask Fali for his phone borrowed to find out that information that he got off of his phone about Dr. Rowley, because these are serious allegations that he's making.
Right.
I mean, Fali, well, when you look at the situation and how Fali behaves, you will want to believe that is Prime Minister Fali, you know.
Yes.
You know, Prime Minister Fali, and then if it's so Prime Minister Fali, then he is causing confusion with the Prime Minister of Trinidad because he's the Prime Minister of Tobago, and that is what I want us to believe. When you listen to his conversations, you can swear he's a Prime Minister. He speaks beyond his remit. He causes fraction with central government and himself. And he behaves as if he is royalty.
Yes.
And when he makes comments like that, it has far-reaching implications because you're involving some WhatsApp conversation, and so if you want to get all your information about WhatsApp and Facebook and run Tobago on WhatsApp and Facebook, okay. But once you do that and you cause the Prime Minister's office into disrepute, that's where the problem lies. And although we may dismissing some of these things, but these are serious matters, and I felt it put CPS, especially if I'm working on the department of the drugs. I would like to see a photo and getting WhatsApp number and those things and to find out where you get our information from and try to strike a deal in countries and back to the investigation. All this would be a waste of time because we know he's lying, but sometimes you need to like first the issue so these fellas can understand because he's stepping way beyond his bound many times and we just leave it and take it lightly and leave it so. But then again, when you do that, you say, oh, look at the politically victimized. But you're pushing yourself into this kind of problem situation. The man came out of the meeting, spoke with the media. We heard him in the media. When he spoke, the man made some at least 2 months. The man made some sort of sense because what he said on the information that he got, he was able right there to make sense of the information because of the information that he got is good. You know, right after that, the man go on and make some stupid comment and talking about Dr. Rowley and the boat and the petrol train and then right after that, Guardian put up a thing where the boat was destined for.
Yes.
I mean, Charlie, something has to be wrong with Charlie. Charlie needs to be reading and know what to do reading. You have to put the pressure that if you make it an allegation, you have to back up the allegation. You said you get an allegation from Facebook or something, no, you said WhatsApp. Somebody WhatsApp him that thing. Was that? I the police, I the senior police officer, and I said, can I go to the police? You get it back there, and go through his WhatsApp messages and see where you get information from. And from there, I have to follow up to find out from the person who sent him that or whatever, more information I can question them on and find out where they're going. You know, but we have to be careful how we tread. I mean, it's a serious matter, the oil, the thing, that is going to take time because you think the people who was doing that, they know what it's all about. So this has to be an international issue, which is already been, but the international people will get involved and help. And in terms of the cleanup, the expertise in doing that will be Trinidad and Tobago. You know? I mean, you can want a Grenada for what? I mean, Grenada, how much help you get? Yes, in terms of the cleanup, I think they help Grenada and then cope with it. That is where you got to assist them, but you going for them to help you. That don't make sense. You go to Grenada and help them with some of the things across their water to help them with the cleanup. I could agree with that. But you are telling me you're going to need another help because you're so bad mind that you don't even want to bring Trinidad into your governance because you want to show Tobagonians that you don't need Trinidad to be there. And then you have a next secretary talking one side of foolishness about how Tobago was saying and she skewing the information and how we gave Trinidad and Tobago and the word of Tobago because she didn't listen to part of people say cut and paste that point of and doesn't make any sense in the long run because at the end of the topic you won't understand what is she really talking about. I mean, you get the pick up side of people who have any sort of knowledge in running running a parlor, any kind of thing, put them together, they get in, they feel that they own the office that they did for life, and for some reason that office of secretaries have been signed to them, like their own, and they're not governing. They're not governing. It's like they own the whatever secretary they have there, and the people looking for them is just workers. So you are the boss, you see what are done, and you are the if you don't like it, move on. But they don't understand how governance works, and that's why they keep tying up themselves and making this kind of statement that it doesn't make no kind of sense when you look at it, and it's putting pressure on the people to be able. So when you lock down things and you change things and you think on carnival, I hear in this China and a couple of them who was complaining about the carnival and Tobago, at least people never have organized and put out an investment and the work and the back of the investment. Who will help them? But I hope probably the price of going to help people because they would have remember that would have been planned from a long time to put things in place. People had workers come and had to send them home. All these other things that happen in Tobago, so I don't know, Tobago made a choice and Tobago will just have to deal with that. I don't know how to deal with it. Decided that period, when time comes to go, to continue with the same thing, we don't feel like it or they change it. But when they change it, no, that they change it like what they did with Ashwacha. They are total blood. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yep, Tobago voted for that. So we will see how things go. But of course, the secretary was in Jamaica, meeting with, as she said, other ministers of tourism for the umpteenth time. I think the most traveled secretaries in that THA would probably be Ms. Boris and her chief secretary. Right? Every and anywhere there's anything to do with tourism and so on, they all up in that. But in Trinidad here, they complaining Rowley when he traveling and how much travel Rowley doing. But they ain't looking at what's taking place in Tobago, right? But we know the people who talk and not talk, we know what their motive is. But Dr. Rowley, as Mano says, mash the X and swing corners. You do what it is that you have to do. Folks, thank you all so much. It is 9 o'clock. Yeah, so always a pleasure, as I say, to have to bring my point of view on a few things that is happening in the country. We'll continue on Thursday, other issues to discuss as well, and we will see what will transpire between now and Thursday, what other shenanigans will take place. Yeah, but as I keep saying, never a dull moment in sweet TNT. And so those folks from that party, to be calling up my name earlier nonsense on earlier program, Underground Report, please. I do not watch the Underground Report. I do not listen to the Underground Report. I do not have the patience or the time to listen to garbage. And the only thing you get from the Underground Report is garbage. So I see them in the comments calling up my name and it's showing up in notifications on the Underground Report nonsense. I'm talking about numbers. Imagine I have more people in my life than the Underground Report has. Don't be calling me all that foolishness. I don't have time for that. Okay, so just a word to the wise. I didn't see Ricky this morning in the chat. I don't know if he did, but like the licks he got the other day, he probably decided to take a rest this morning. So folks, we will chat on Thursday. Enjoy the rest of your day. Make it a productive one. And God's willing, we will continue our discussions on Thursday morning, right? So that's it for me today.